Yo, everybody.
Yo.
Good.
Oh,
Hey,
okay. We'll
everybody.
restart. Hey, everybody.
It's the Joe and the Shop Show.
I'm wearing a Joe and Shop Show shirt right now. It
You
just
are?
happened to be. It was one of the only clean shirts I have, so that's what happens when you're lazy.
You're wearing that. I didn't think
I am wearing that.
That's good. Hey, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, none of us, only one other fan has it. I'll leave his name.
He's not a fan.
He doesn't even watch the show, let's be honest.
Yeah,
He probably just thought it was funny.
I don't know why he would care.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe it's just 'cause he's like, I'm his bud. He's our bud. Anyways, if you're not watching this, bud, maybe you are watching this, but I don't think you're watching this. Anyways, we got picks of the week again. No, he has to find out that we're talking about him by himself, because then it'll be funnier.
You're right.
So if he doesn't find out, he doesn't find out. Anyways, we got picks of the week this week. This is our third returned week, actually. 1 week we talked about video games. I need to get on my high horse and start watching some stuff, because I got busy for a while, and then now it's summer, and I just, for some reason, I just haven't been watching stuff. I don't know why.
I think it's the TV hasn't been great lately, but
And when TV's better, you want to watch more wrestling.
I think that it's starting to get better. Like this week was pretty all right. I thought this week was pretty good. And
We'll save this. We'll save it for Joe and Shop. Yeah.
basically, I'm saying Backlash and Extreme Rules. I'm hyped for those. I think they'll be good shows, and I think they'll put us on the right track.
I am very mildly excited for Backlash. Extreme Rules looks better. I don't know. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
True. Which came out yesterday.
It did. But we record this before we do the podcast. So, little insight there. Anyways, we got stuff to pick of the week. You guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So we had something recently released, and Joe is going to talk about it. I didn't watch it. I would most definitely like to watch it because it's right down my alley. Let's talk about it.
All right. So, if you watched it, it came out this week. It aired after Raw. WWE 24 on Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
So there was a couple WWE 24s on guys that have been made in the past. There was one on Seth Rollins, which I thought was really good. And this one, Finn Balor, it pretty much is
the same thing as Seth Rollins, right?
Yeah, it's very similar. I don't remember how long the Seth Rollins was. This one's an hour long. I thought that was
I think
long.
most of them are like 40 to 60 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about the length. I was like, whoa, it's pretty long. That's pretty cool. But yeah, like I really, really enjoyed this one. This one really was my favorite one so far.
Oh, that's good.
It's all about basically his injury and him coping with it. Him pretty much camera crew following him around throughout the entire amount of his recovery time.
Not when he went to Wizard World. I don't want to hear you lie.
No, but yeah, it was like it was a lot like Patriots Day, where you know what's gonna happen, and you're like, oh
God.
no.
Yeah, very similar to a bombing where people died.
No, I'm talking about the feeling. I'm talking about
joke.
the feeling. But yeah, like you watch it and you're like, it's pretty like happy kind of in the beginning, and you're like, oh, Finn Balor, he's one of the greatest NXT stars of all time. He's in one of the main events of SummerSlam, and that shows him getting powerbombed, and it's like, oh, I know what happens next. And one thing I love about WWE 24 is they show a lot of the backstage stuff, like the one they had on Kurt Angle. It showed him talking to Vince for the first time. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And for this one, they literally, he says, it shows him about to go backstage behind the curtain, and he says the
gorilla position.
Yeah, gorilla position. The camera guy says, "Hey, raise the belt," and he's like, "I can't," and he's like, "Oh, I did," and he's just talked about how he did it anyway, and it really hurt. And then it immediately shows him walking to the back. It shows all the guys like Kevin Owens, I think Sami Zayn, Neville. I just caught a couple guys. They're all clapping for him in the back. I think Big Cass was there too. And Triple H shakes his hand, and it like
everybody in that Fatal 4-Way.
Oh yeah. Fatal 5-Way.
Wasn't it Fatal 4-Way?
Wait, what?
I'm talking about the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship. It was Kevin Owens, Big Cass.
Oh yeah. Oh, that Fatal 4-Way. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
I remember that.
No one does.
But yeah, it was cool. And Triple H shakes his hand, and
He goes, "Ow!"
He like shakes his hand, and he like whispers something to Triple H, and he says like, "Oh, my shoulder's really loose. That's not good. That's not good." And he says basically what he said at Wizard World, where he says, I wasn't happy. I was, I felt awful. It wasn't like any sign of, it wasn't any feeling of like, achievement. It just felt like I blew it, and tomorrow this is going to be a big problem. And it sucks. Like that feeling has to be awful.
Yeah, and when we saw him at Wizard World, he was making that emotion clear.
Mm-hmm. And that's good though. He
that gives you drive though. That gives you the drive.
Yeah,
to come back and then lose to Roman Reigns.
We'll talk about that. But he is my favorite wrestler right now. He's definitely, like, I was a little iffy like when he came back. I'm like, oh, he's not doing anything. They're just gonna have him float around because this isn't fun. But ever since what was the last pay-per-view? Payback. He's been doing stuff, and I'm happy. He's had 2 TV Match of the Year candidates so far in the past month. So hey, good for him. But yeah, like he talks about a lot of stuff you don't think about too with his rehab. He talks about how at first he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go back to the gym and start exercising, and he's like, never mind, I have to do these boring exercises because basically my shoulder was a lot worse than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And it eventually shows him, he's in there's one part where he goes to an Irish pub, and it's so amazing. Like it's like family and stuff is there. They're all wearing like the Bulletproof Balor Club shirts.
That's
and,
cool.
Like they're all like singing and they're on like dancing and stuff. It looks like so much fun, and it was awesome. And it shows him in the performance center. He's like training with Noam Dar and stuff.
Those are equal talent.
They're actually good friends in real life. Hey, Noam Dar, I like Noam Dar.
He's funny.
He's some potential.
And now he's gonna be the manager for the top woman on Raw.
Hey, remember when I mentioned that like months ago?
What?
That he should manage Alicia Fox, and Alicia Fox could manage him. And they could be like a power couple. Yeah.
I totally remember that.
But yeah. Anyways, one thing I thought that was cool is like they have there's one part where he's like FaceTiming Carl Anderson, and I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure that it's the exact same conversation as whenever Luke Ellis and Carl Anderson FaceTimed him on the car ride show, Ride Along. So there's a YouTube clip about that. I'm pretty sure there was like the same FaceTime. It might not be, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's one part where Seth Rollins tears his MCL, and they're rehabbing together, stuff like that. Finn's like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna make WrestleMania, and
hey, Finn made WrestleMania too.
He technically did. Yeah, they talked.
Yeah.
They talked
Poor
about
guy.
that. But yeah, it was kind of cool because they did sort of acknowledge a little bit of the kayfabe there, where he basically was like, I want to beat him up, but hey, we have a bond here in injury. He's the one who injured me. I want to hit him over the head with a steel chair. I think that's what he said. And but I'm gonna time heals wounds, stuff like that. And yeah, it was a cool little part of the special. But yeah, the special is really good. I recommend everyone should watch it, honestly. Even if you don't like Finn that much, I think it's good for just to like learn about him more,
Yeah, I have it on my radar. I'll be watching it. I haven't watched something on the network for a while. I just haven't. And this is definitely one of those that would get me too, because it's a story that's very interesting, very real story.
Mm-hmm.
interesting story because now he is back on Raw, and I don't think he's gonna have the Universal title for a while. But it'll be cool to see like the backstage of how he got it in the first place.
My favorite part, by far though, the whole special is just like all the footage. The footage that they get is amazing, and you know some of the shots that they get of them in the arena, like shots you don't see on TV, slow motion stuff. They're really good, and even like the footage with Finn in backstage, or SummerSlam, or like him talking to Seth, rehab stuff like that. It's just or the pub, just awesome stuff. And like I said, recommend everyone should go watch it. Maybe I'm a little biased because he's my favorite wrestler, but hey, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So my pick of the week is very predictable. Because I haven't been watching anything, and the question is, do I have a pick of the week? You could say that. You could also say I don't, and I'm gonna kind of half-ass it and make sure I start watching stuff again. But hey, I might. My pick of the week is another WWE show called Unfiltered with Renee Young.
Oh, I love this show.
It's actually a great show. I haven't seen it in a while. They don't make new episodes enough, but Renee Young is great. Like, don't shut up. Not for that reason. Renee Young is just great. She has a great personality.
Yeah.
She's obviously very talented in her how she presents herself, how she talks in the mic. She even did announcing in NXT. I'd much rather see her than like JBL or some of the other people who are announcers, but she does a great job on Talking Smack, on Raw Talk. She does a great job as an interviewer. She's a central part to WWE's, whether you want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And her and Dean Ambrose just recently got married, so that's pretty cool. She is very good on this show, and it's just fun to see her talk to people. I don't know if I've seen every episode, but I remember watching the Becky Lynch one, Dean Ambrose, which is great because they're dating in that one, obviously, but they can't really talk about it because he's Dean Ambrose, not the real person. So it's like really interesting to see how that dynamic works.
It was before it was like acknowledged on television and stuff too.
Yeah, Chris Jericho was on there, and he was just being like an asshole. He was like, I don't have time for this interview. And then he forgives her and everything. Kevin Owens is on there, and he talks about like how much he hates beer, and he's like, beer sucks. There's a lot of good moments in there. Like she gets breakfast with Seth Rollins, and John Cena's on it too, and she's like, I don't know how he got you. Like, I don't even know how you have time. And he just acts so weird. Like, he is so weird in it. And I can't tell if it's like he's just fucking around or like he's serious.
Tired. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really enjoyable just to see these guys because they're obviously just enjoying themselves. Because there's nothing too serious about it. It is literally unfiltered, where it's just them talking. I know it's the name of the show, but it's a good name for the show because it's Renee Young, ask some questions, kind of shoot the shit, kind of just talk and kind of have a good time. And you see the real side of these wrestlers, and it's hard not to like them when you see them in this kind of environment. There's nothing super groundbreaking about it, but it's just an enjoyable watch, and I want them to make more. There are a few that are weird. There's like one with JJ, like the cast of The Force Awakens. I didn't watch that because I didn't care. I thought that'd be really uncomfortable personally. I was like, I'm sure that these actors for Star Wars are going to go, oh, cool, I'm getting interviewed by the WWE. I'm going to take this really seriously.
Dude, I'm on Unfiltered with Renee Young. They're going to talk about this on the Joe and Shop show.
Yeah, really, so I didn't watch those because I imagine they'd be really uncomfortable. Apparently Harrison Ford completely ignores one of her questions and is just like, I think he just doesn't care about Star Wars at all, which was why it's funny. But
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, good show. There's really nothing else to say about it. I need to make sure I watch all of them, but I've watched Randy Orton, I've watched John Cena, let me check and see which ones I haven't seen, because I have trouble naming which ones I haven't seen. Unfiltered with Renee Young.
I know I've seen most I don't know if I've seen all of them. I don't know if I saw the John Cena one, because I feel like I would have remembered it.
Oh, I didn't watch the Paige one, but I watched Cesaro. I might not have seen Charlotte, but I've seen John Cena, Enzo, Cass, Becky Lynch, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns. I don't remember I watched that one. I definitely
Roman
watched
Reigns
Dolph
one is good. I remember
I definitely watched Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler talks about his stand-up, and it's pretty great. Mm-hmm. There's literally one just called Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Sasha Banks, she talks about how she likes anime. There's a Finn Balor one, and he looks weird in that one.
Mm-hmm.
he looks like he just wrestled. There's a Darren Young one. I didn't watch that one. There's a Terminator Genesis and Ant-Man and Entourage. There's a Wiz Khalifa one. So thank God this show became more about wrestlers and not about. Great show though. Hey, there's a Bad News Barrett one. I'll watch that one and talk about how great his career went after that interview. Anyways,
went great.
That's my pick of the week. I'm gonna say for not actually having a pick, I think I did all right. So I don't care about any of you.
Hey, good network stuff to check out.
Yeah, who would you say is the heel of the podcast? You or me?
Depends on the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's usually me.
Yeah, I think whoever craps on something is usually the heel. Obviously.
Is it usually me?
I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Yeah, well, even most podcasts, there's like the guy who's the asshole and the guy who's not. Anyways, that's picks of the week. We'll see you next time, guys. Tell me who's the heel. Tell me who's the heel. Tell me who's the heel. It's probably me. Anyways, see you next time.
Woo.